I would like to talk to you briefly about management of anxiety and stress. Personally, I view life as a verb. It's active, it's busy, there's things to be done constantly. Sometimes it feels that life is just hurried and we can't slow it down. We are all human and we're all prone to the basic emotions of feeling anxious or stressed. Um, I've heard even therapists tell patients to not worry and to get rid of the stress of their lives, and I think those comments are strike me as kind of funny. I think telling someone not to worry is like telling them not to breathe. Um, it's not very effective in my opinion. And rather than that, I say to people, all anxiety does not lead to panic. Anxiety keeps us alive, actually. And I often with my patients give the example of, our brain is engineered to take care of us. So, for example, anxiety is needed when we're out on the street crossing the road. If we hear an ambulance or we hear a car honking, we are going to take note and we're going to go somewhere. Without that, we would pretty much be at the risk of the world. Um, so I think it's better to be aware that we all have anxiety at times and what are some tools, quick tools for managing anxiety. I also hear people talk about eliminating stress in your life. Um, Now, there's a real bright idea. So, how are we going to eliminate stress? Are we going to give our teenagers away? Um, are we going to fire our bosses? What are we going to do to eliminate stress? Rather, I say to my patients, let's look at the source of your stress and let's try to come up with some informed decisions about how to manage that stress, things that work for you. What works for management of stress for one person may not be effective for another person. Some people eliminate stress by listening to what I call elevator music. Other people, that would simply drive them crazy. Some people alleviate stress by different types of music, rap, country, whatever, whereas that same type of music would set someone else into a state of panic. So we need to find tools that work for us. And there is very one simple basic tool for reducing anxiety when we're feeling overwhelmed, when we feel that our thoughts are spinning out of control. A therapist named Ellen Hendrickson come up with a pretty basic technique of using all of our senses for grounding and for coping with anxiety. She referred to this as the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. Sit still, take a few deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth, what we call a belly breath. Pull it in deep and let it out. And then name 5 things that you can see. Look in your environment and identify 5 things that are within your vision and name those things. Fourth, we're going to pick out 4 things that you can hear. Stop, be still, take one of those breaths and listen to your environment. It may be an air conditioner, it may be a helicopter on the port, it may be the flushing of something, it may be the sound of your own heartbeat. But 4 things that you can hear. Think about those things, listen to them, and name them. Then you go down to 3 things you can touch. And those might be touching your fingernail against your finger and feel that sensation. Rub your toes in your shoes and feel that. You can feel that movement. It may be reaching up to touch your sweater and rub that fabric. But 3 things that you can touch and focus on those things. You move down then to 2 things that you can smell. And in some environments that's a little challenging, but for the most part we can pick up on scents. We may be in a room where there's some sort of candle or essential oil maybe our own deodorant, it may be our perfume, but two things that we can smell. And last of all, one thing that you can taste. And I recommend to many people, carry a peppermint in your pocket. Peppermint has a strong flavor, and peppermint, according to the naturalists, is just that, a natural stress reliever. Helps us to focus, helps us to attend. I kind of think that's true. So when we do those five things that we can see, 4 things that we can hear, 3 things we can touch, 2 things we can smell, and 1 thing that we can taste, we then need to just focus on our natural breathing. Take a deep belly breath, take it in, out through the nose, and just practice that for a minute or two. And just allow yourself to be where you are in the moment, in your environment, and let the stress dissipate. If you practice that over time, it does work, but things take practice. I also find it helpful when I'm working with my patients on this exercise to say, at the end of this exercise, I am here, and this is now. The whole concept of I am here and this is now alleviates all of the what ifs, the have beens, the should be's. They kind of go out the door for a few minutes. And sometimes that's one of the simple things that we can do and that we need.